Hello, hello, and welcome to the Listen Bitch podcast with your favorite podcast host, Brandon Lynette. This is your go-to destination for unlocking your full potential and embracing the extraordinary possibilities within you. This is a journey of self-discovery and empowerment as you explore that transformative power of stepping into greatness. Come into alignment with your God-given power and gifts, unleash your soul, and learn to co-create a life that you love. As you become the writer of your own story, in this podcast, you're going to find the inspiration, practical tips, and sometimes abrasive nudge to take the leap of faith towards your dreams. You are in the right place. Buckle up so we can unleash your inner badass. All right. So, listen, bitch, this episode today is for the moments when disappointment knocks the wind out of you and you're tempted to either quit or just blow everything up. So, I'm going to talk about how to actually process setbacks without spiraling, numbing, or just pretending that you're fine. I'll break down how to turn the disappointment into clarity, better decisions, forward momentum, not giving you guys that motivational bullshit fluff, but real life application. So if you've been stuck replaying what didn't work, or maybe you're questioning your next move or feeling that familiar urge to shut down and start over from scratch, this is the episode that's going to help you cut through the bullshit, recalibrate, and move forward, move that needle stronger and smarter. So tune in if you are done letting disappointment run the show. Okay. Disappointment is part of the cost of doing real shit. If you're aiming at anything that matters, growth, obedience, change, leadership, impact, disappointment isn't an if, it's a when. The problem isn't that disappointment shows up. The problem is when you let it sit in the driver's seat and start making decisions for you. Disappointment is information. So if you could treat it like a message, not a mood that you have to live inside. People who rise aren't the ones who avoid the disappointment. They're the ones who know how to metabolize it instead of letting it rot. You have to get specific about why you're disappointed. Vague disappointment turns into self-loathing, okay? Specific disappointment turns into data. So when it hits, I don't want you to spiral. I want you to interrogate it. I want you to ask yourself what exactly didn't happen that you expected to happen. Not the story, not the, emotion, the concrete outcome. And then ask whether that outcome was ever actually in your control. And if it wasn't, dragging yourself over it is wasted energy. That's like yelling at traffic for existing. Like, bitch, just acknowledge it and move. If it was in your control, then I want you to get honest about where the miss happened. Is it timing? Is it preparation? Is it assumptions? Um, Dependencies, effort, clarity, execution. Disappointment usually comes from one of those, not from your character. So name the miss so you can adjust instead of replaying it on that doom scroll loop. And I want you to check your expectations before you blame reality. A lot of disappointment comes from expecting outcomes on a timeline that your life hasn't earned yet. Or maybe you're expecting consistency from people who've never shown it. Or maybe you're expecting momentum without having to do the repetition, or, obedience without discipline. You want the fruit without the roots. Expectations aren't all bad. Unchecked expectations are. If you are constantly disappointed, there's a good chance that you're skipping steps or you're stacking pressure where patience actually belongs. Adjusting expectations isn't lowering standards, it's aligning them with reality so you can stop burning yourself out emotionally. Expectation misalignment feels like failure. It is not. It is a calibration. And then you have to decide whether to push or pivot and actually take massive action. Disappointment demands a decision. Sitting in it is how people stall for months, and then they call it processing. Once you have reviewed the situation you're in, you can decide, do you need to stay the course with more patience and cleaner execution, or do you need a different approach altogether? Because sometimes the goal is right, but the method is wrong. Sometimes the method will work, but the goal no longer fits the season. Either way, decide and move. Dragging your feet because you're scared to choose is still a choice, and it's the one that's going to keep you stuck in the same spot that disappointment got you in the first place. You have to stop letting past results set future terms. What happened already does not get you a vote on what's possible next unless you keep consulting it like it has authority in your life. One disappointment does not equal a pattern. One delay does not mean denial. One misstep does not define your calling. The past only has power when you keep rehearsing it instead of learning from it. So you have to extract the lesson and then shut the door on it. Carrying old disappointment forward is going to slow your reaction time and it's going to cloud your judgment. You don't need to relive it to respect it. You have to learn and move. You want to keep disappointment in proportion. Disappointment feels loud because it's interrupting your momentum. And that doesn't mean it deserves to blow up the whole fucking mission. Nothing meaningful comes without friction. Every long-term win includes seasons where the math doesn't math yet. Okay. Disappointment is part of the training, not a sign that you're off course. Quitting every time something doesn't pan out is how people guarantee average outcomes while telling themselves it's wisdom. Perspective keeps disappointment from turning into drama. You have to stop letting your emotion pick your next move. Disappointment makes people impulsive. They cut, quit, burn, announce, and detonate, and then they wonder why they regret it later. You have to pause and let your system settle. Distance yourself from the purge to do something just to feel powerful again. Clarity returns when the charge drops. Decisions made from clarity compound. Decisions made from frustration usually create cleanup, okay? You are allowed to feel disappointed. You are not required to act from it. Set a goal that pulls you forward. One of the fastest ways out of disappointment is forward direction. Not busy work, okay, but like a real compelling target, something that requires you to re-engage your focus instead of rehashing the miss. New goals reset your posture. They move your eyes forward instead of backward. They remind you that one outcome doesn't get to define the entire story. Momentum heals faster than ruminating on the bullshit, okay? You have to make the decision to become more. And this is going to be the line in the sand. This disappointment either makes you smaller, more guarded, more cynical, or it's going to sharpen you. And that's not a personality trait, that is a choice. You can let disappointment harden you in the wrong places or strengthen you where it counts. Use it to refine your discernment or clean up your execution and deeper your resolve. That's how disappointment becomes an asset instead of a dead weight. Disappointment handled poorly drags you down. Disappointment handled well, obviously, it's going to change your trajectory. So head up, eyes forward, adjust, and move. Disappointment doesn't get the final word unless you're giving it the microphone. What you do after things don't go your way matters more than the thing itself. You don't need a dramatic reset or a total overhaul. You need clarity, you need honesty, and the willingness to keep moving with intention. Take what landed from this today, apply it, and make one decision that moves you forward instead of keeping you stuck. We don't quit here, okay? We adjust, we sharpen, and we continue. So if this episode speaks to you, share it with someone who is sitting in disappointment and doesn't know what to do next. I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, keep your head clear and your standards high, and bitch, keep your feet moving.